Hello, 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 and welcome to the live. That is my testimony. I want you to know that God is keeping me. When I tell you that is one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite gospel songs, and that was the Crystal Smith of the Brown Sisters. I love Crystal. I pretty much follow everything that she does, and I really, really enjoy listening to her to sing. So, listening to her sing, her mom sings, her brother sings. They just a whole family of some singers, and I absolutely love it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get on into the commentary. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I am Lady RHOA, and welcome to the Queendom. Remember, all views expressed in this live, they're all alleged. They're all, in my opinion, and they're all for entertainment purposes only, child. I don't know if none of this stuff is true. Fair use disclaimer: some material in this video is used under U.S. copyright fair use, Section 107, for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and education. Please remember to like this video if you don't mind. Please like this video. Let's get on into the show. Today we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and this past week's episode. Hey, Symmetry, thanks for joining the live. We're gonna talk about this past week's episode and all of the things, y'all. I took notes. It took me about 2 hours to take notes because, child, it was a lot going on. These people had a lot going on this episode, and I'm not sure if they meant for it to be a lot going on, or it was a lot going on. It was a good episode. I will say this. I did not review the last 2 episodes. Have been having a lot of things going on, like I said. And so I decided I'm just gonna jump feet in, and I'm gonna review the one that just happened this past Sunday. So let's get into it. Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode number 7. And the title of this episode was, let's see, what was the name of this episode? It was Dynasty, Diamonds and Drama. And baby, they had all the dynasty, all the drama, and all of the diamonds. It was like I said, it was a great episode. Really, really good. Please remember to like this video. The episode opens up with the ladies still on the bus, and Portia and Kelly still arguing about Kelly wanting to scissor Portia, child, which was crazy to me. Anyway, Portia said, "Can you imagine a mouse in a lioness?" Y'all, when I said they were funny, they were funny. Cynthia said those legs aren't even long enough to go around, or those legs aren't even going to make it around Portia's ass. Anyway, the producers asked in the confessional to Portia if this really happened, and Portia said it happened last year in Miami, right after they came back from Grenada. Anyway, Portia said that last night she was taking a look, that last night in Grenada, she was taking a look, what she called a HOE bath. And she said Kelly got to look at that poutine, that platinum plus, and she turned to Shimmy and said, "Ooh, I want some of that." And Shimmy said in confessional, "Where was I when all this scissor action was supposed to have happened?" They go back to Portia, and she's saying that Kelly said she should come to Portia's room. And Portia said when the elevator got to her floor, she jumped off. She quickly pushed the closed door behind her, and she told him, "Bye, child." I said, "Now, Portia, where was you taking this HOE bath at?" Now, I got questions. You opened up the door, So let's go ahead and let's talk. Why was you taking this HOE bath, and where was you taking this bath at? Anyway. Um, Portia said a troll was trying to climb a tree that night. Next, we see in a confessional, Kelly is saying that she isn't into girls, and if she was, it wouldn't be her. She don't like them big and goofy like Portia. Hey, Queen Script, thanks for joining the live. I appreciate you coming in. So, back in the bus, Kelly said, "I don't scissor at all." See what you said. Good question. I was wondering the same thing. Me too. I was like, okay, where were y'all at when you was taking this so-called bath if you had Shamia and Kelly with you? Because this story ain't making a whole lot of sense at this point now, but child, it ain't my story to tell, it's your story to tell. But a lot of these stories didn't make a whole lot of sense once I really listened to what these women had to say. And we're gonna get to that when we get to it. Um, so Kelly said she didn't like scissoring at all. And she said, okay, so you can continue. Portia said, we will continue to stay. The guy will, they were talking about this guy that apparently Kelly has been with. The guy's married. And Portia said, you sleep with married men, blah, 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 blah. Just a bunch of who shot, who did it, who win, where. There's a whole bunch of mess. Scuttlebutt is what we want to say. And um Portia said he will still continue to stay married, and he will never give you a dime. And Kelly said, "What married man, Portia?" And Portia responded, I'm sorry. First, Drew interjected and said, maybe she didn't know he was married. And Portia responded with, "Oh, she knows. She knows. I can tell you 1000% that she knows." And she tried to call him and shh him. Kelly is in the corner yelling in the highest key on the keyboard because, baby, her voice sounds like those nails going down a chalkboard to me. At least that's how I mean, she really squeals. Portia said, I tried to make up with you and I tried to send you flowers. She said, but you don't want them? You could put them up your ass. Kelly said, I don't want them, and I ain't putting them up my ass. Kelly's comebacks really aren't that great. I said, what a weird conversation amongst adults. I mean, to me, this is like one of the weirdest conversations. Anywho, Kelly said, you need a rose, not me. And so Pinky chimes in and says, it's given everybody needs a rose. She said she needs a rose sometimes too. Portia uses this. I'm sorry, Phaedra uses this as an opportunity to kind of change the conversation, move it around. And she says, hey, I don't hear many people talking about the rose anymore. And Pinky said, yeah, that rose, it is great. And they have a conversation about the rose and its uses in their lives. And I believe that Shamia said that she had wet up her bed using the rose, and Portia said she spent one night just staring at the rose. Just a weird conversation for adults to have, like I said. Anywho, we go on down and they keep driving, and after they have a good laugh, K Michelle says, so we're all good now? And they all say yeah. And she said, so y'all just gonna tag into each other's ass, and then the next moment is all good. I want y'all to remember the Kate Michelle said this before they went to dinner. Keep that in your mind, because I think this may be important to kind of getting a little bit of understanding of this stupidity that happened later on in the episode. Queen Script said Kelly is trying to produce conflict with Portia, and it's not working. Definitely. And I don't think she's ever going to realize that it's not going to work with Portia. Hey, Susie. You said, hey, Lady Road, K Michelle is delusional. Ooh, that's an understatement. Susie, I don't get K Michelle, and I don't know what it is she really is looking for among this friend group. And I really wish that we all knew, because she's making it a little awkward, Um, and to me, it's awkward. Maybe not to others, but to me, I think it's just a tad bit awkward with her constantly crying, and she just be all over the place. She's a lot of work. Um, In the confessional, Kate Michelle said, we went from chili cheese hot pockets to everybody is happy and laughing. Is this how y'all get down? I don't understand, but I'm trying to figure it out, is what she said. It is very strange behavior. Very strange behavior. Um, they asked Pinky, is she lit? While they're in the van that's taking them to dinner, and they're going to eat at a place called Bar Eden, which is in the Bishop's Art District. I'm gonna show you some things in a moment. Um, they asked Pinky if she's lit because, of course, Pinky's always talking, and Pinky, she's always doing the things. And Pinky, I guess, said yeah, and Shamia said yeah, she's lit because she's already spilled 3 drinks on me. So I don't know how many shots Pinky had because we see her throwing back a shot in this scene when they're talking. Um, Pinky said she's having a great time. As we see, she's throwing back another tequila shot as they arrive at the restaurant. Pinky says she has to pee, and she runs off the bus to go to the restroom. They arrive at Bar Eaton in Dallas in the Bishop's Arts District. I want to show y'all something that I actually pulled up. Let me move my overlay out of the way for a moment. Y'all, this is a map up at the very top where it says Decatur, Texas. I thought it was Denison until I looked at the house again. The house was actually in Decatur. Decatur is almost to the Oklahoma border. So from Decatur to Fort Worth, which is where the stockyards were, is 63 miles. That's with no traffic on the freeway. And I'm here to tell you there's always traffic on 287 because that is the main thoroughfare getting people from Decatur to Fort Worth that work in Fort Worth and vice versa. And then if you see where Dallas is, the Bishop's Arts District is where Bar Eden is. I have a little spot down there that says Bishop's Art District. That is where they had dinner at. That trip alone, it says 60 miles that way, but you can imagine it is always traffic on 35W. Always. When I say always. So I guarantee you that trip takes over an hour and a half, if not almost 2 hours, to depend on what's going on the freeway to get there. So I just want you to understand why they spend a lot of time in the Sprinter van. I mean, in their bus, in that party bus that they had. Also, when they arrived at the airport, this is the same route because they came into Dallas Regional. So they took, which Dallas Regional sits in Oak Cliff. So they took that all the way to Decatur. That's an hour 15-minute ride in the middle of the day if traffic is good. So really, 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 these ladies spend a lot of time in the bus. Trust me, they spend a lot of time in a bus. Pinky was beyond lit spilling drinks. I agree. But remember the first episode when Portia had that dinner at her house, when they walked in, Pinky spilled a drink first, and then Shamia spilled a drink right behind her. So maybe they just like wasting alcohol. They like alcohol abuse. Maybe that's what it is. Portia was very concerned, and K. Michelle goes to social media. Chad, we gonna get into it, Susie. I think that K. Michelle is paranoid. I think she may suffer from some paranoia, allegedly. I don't know if any of this is true. But to really be believing that someone is setting out to plot against you and the plot don't make sense, that's just wild to me. I mean, if I'm going to throw a plot on you, it's going to have to be something that I think I can make stick. Anyway, we see the ladies, as soon as they arrive at the bar, they order cocktails because the guy comes around. They're sitting at a table, rather, and they ask him, would you like to order cocktails? Of course, they say yeah. And then the camera flashes to Pinky. She's in the restroom, y'all, struggling. When I say struggling. They talk about the husbands arriving the following day, and that the theme for the gala is Dynasty, and the cameras pan back to the restroom, and we hear Pinky in the restroom gagging, right? Cynthia, all of a sudden, she's sitting there. She's like, let me go check on Pinky. She realizes Pinky's not at the table. She gets up, goes to the restroom, and realizes that Pinky has been drinking on an empty stomach. So, of course, I'm going to tell you something. Cynthia, but when I say she deserves whatever amount of money that she's making from being a friend of the show, she definitely deserves it. They say she don't want to be a peach holder, But baby, if she had a peach, she deserved the peach because she really has gone above and beyond to try to make these ladies have a great trip, even though it seems as though they, in fact, wanted to sabotage her trip. But it seems like she has tried to make them help them have a great trip. um Cynthia says, this is why you have to be nice to people. You never know when you're gonna need some of them. She said, and then Cynthia goes to the bar, gets a thing of ginger ale and some bread. And Cynthia says, Pinky came in here hot. Now she needs my help. You know what I'm saying? And Pinky is done for the night, baby. It's over for Pinky. And I put in my notes, how embarrassing. You done got so drunk in the hour-long ride over there that now you gotta go back to the house, right? She got to go back to the house. You said Cynthia's a very classy, mature woman. She definitely is, and she showed a lot of class. She showed a lot of maturity and a lot of grace. A lot. She had a lot more grace than I would have had because I probably would have had some conversations during this time. Anywho, I hope you guys can hear me. And let me know if you cannot. I can't see my thing. Is it moving? Yes, moving. Okay. Um, Cynthia comes back to the group and she tells them that Pinky's sick. And she tells them, and Phaedra said, well, maybe, she doesn't say maybe, Phaedra just kind of, does what she does, says, we should go. And Cynthia said, no, no, no. She's still on the toilet. And when she feels like she can go, then we'll go. We'll get on the road and go back to the house. And Drew tells Cynthia to be careful with the oysters. And I believe Drew said that because oysters can sometimes carry a bacteria that can cause you to have salmonella poisoning. And so I really believe that's why she told her to be careful with the oysters. We have to remember oysters are filter feeders. So they filter through crap that's on the bottom of the sea, the ocean, or wherever they are. So that's the biggest reason why. And they carry a lot of bacteria, believe it or not. A lot of people love to eat oysters, but oysters is the quickest way to food poisoning, if any other thing. You can be food poisoned by oysters faster than any other meat out there on the shelf. Trust me. Young Bunch wanted to sabotage her. Yeah. Yeah, Susie. I believe they all, when she said, are y'all trying to sabotage me? I really believe that they were, because things kept happening over and over and over. And I will tell you this, when I started watching Real Housewives I think I started around season 2, because I didn't come in. Hi, Miss Shona. How you doing, Miss Wanda? Beautiful girl. You look so pretty last night. I need that skirt set you had on, baby, because you worked it, but I would like to work it too. So let me know where you got it from, because that was absolutely beautiful. I love it. And you look so pretty. You know what, Miss Wanda? Let me tell you something. If nobody ever gives you your flowers or your props, I'm going to do it right now. You look beautiful without any effort. You don't even have to put that dimple, put that hair up, and put on some clothes. Baby, you got it. Don't ever let nobody tell you that you look your age. You do not look your age. You are a beautiful, beautiful woman. And you looked absolutely beautiful last night. I'm going to get off there and I'm going to go on back over to the show. And I enjoyed you last night, girl. You had me laughing, talking about that potato. That potato with them teeth, baby, and that spaghetti hair. I had myself a good little kiki over there with you. I enjoyed it. My husband kept saying, who you laughing at? You should be in bed sleep. But you were hilarious. You're welcome, Miss Wanda. You are, and I'm not saying it just to be said, you are a beautiful woman. You are definitely beautiful. And no homo, because I got a husband, child. I already told Symmetry this morning. I like my men tall, long, and strong. so, so definitely that. But I think you are a beautiful woman. But that pink outfit you had on with them shoes, baby, and I saw your convertible, baby. You look good. You don't never let nobody tell you nothing differently. You look good. You heard me, Symmetry, tall, long, and strong. Those are the things I like out of my husband. Anyway, we talking about Cynthia telling the group that Pinky's sick and Phaedra says they should go. Cynthia said, no, she's still on the toilet, whatever. They talk about the oysters, and then Portia tells she did look cute at Carlos' event. I love, yes, that outfit was cute, baby. That blazer, Oh, I need that one too. I need that one for Essence Fest. I'm gonna have to call you, Miss Wonder. Hook me up with your boutique lady. All right, hook me up. I don't mind playing a good pretty penny for a little cute outfit. I don't. Anybody know me? No, if it's something I want, I put the money down for it. That's how I do. So let me know. Your people, tell your people to get a hold of my people, and I get a hold of your people. Queen Script said, "Hey, showing up as one. You were looking fab and had me rolling. Naturally beautiful. I mean, when I say she didn't have on no makeup, Miss One's just a pretty lady. Ain't no denying it. No lipstick, just a pretty lady. She not even put on lip gloss, baby. You know you fabulous when you ain't got to get in the bathroom and pull out all the brushes to paint your face up. There's just natural beauty, and I love it. But when I say black don't crack, black do not crack, and I love every bit of it. Anyway, let's get on back over here to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we're talking about the oysters, and Portia tells Cynthia, "Let me check the oysters for you. Let me check them first." So Portia takes her butter knife and she begins to check the oysters, and she responds with that that hot pocket is clean. Y'all know that this is hot pocket is the word that K Michelle says she likes to use for the space down there. And so everybody goes, "Really, Portia?" And then she said, "Well, this one might be a little stank." And the camera pans over at K Michelle. She's sitting right next to Portia, and apparently at that moment became bothered by that comment. Now they pan the camera over at Drew, and her eyes are like, I mean, huge. Like, what? And Angela says, "This is weird. What are you checking for? Do you always smell oysters?" And we see Pinky coming out of the restroom with the producer. She had on, they had put booties over her shoes. I don't know what she had going on in the bathroom. And the producer tells Pinky that they're pulling a car around for you. And we do know that when the vehicles are moving, that normally they have several cars among them. That is how the cameramen travel. That is how producers travel. They have several cars. That is how you get to see the different angles inside and outside of the vehicles. So there was no Uber called. They put her in one of their vehicles that they were driving in, and they took her back to Decatur, Texas. Anywho, to the house. And we see when the ladies, right before the ladies arrive, we see Pinky climbing into bed. So she's goes back, and she gets to bed. So she didn't even get to enjoy the restaurant bar, even with the rest of the ladies. And then we see Pinky walking out of the restaurant, and then back at the table, Shamia asks K Michelle how she was feeling because she seemed upset on the bus. And K Michelle responded with, "I feel like I'm trying to be holy." Girl, what? Girl, what? You feel like you're trying to be holy. Girl, if you're trying to be holy, you have failed miserably. You have failed miserably. Anne Marie said M. I don't know what M means. You may have to type more letters in M for our understanding. But welcome to live. I've never seen you in here, Anne Marie, but welcome to the live. I pray to God that you're not one of those trolls that like to come in here and play ping pong with us. Anywho, moving forward. Portia said, What do you mean? How?" And Kate says it's like a lot of stuff she be wanting to say, but she just don't. And then Shamia chimes in and says, "I want you to feel like you're in a safe space so you can share." And Kay Michelle speaks up and says, "This shit ain't safe." Like literally just like that. I said, "Well, that holy went right out the door right there. That you sent that holy sailing." She said, "Y'all be beating the hell out of each other." And Portia says her intentions were not to have the conversation inside of the bus with Kelly. She wanted to have those individual conversations with Kelly, is what she said. And she said that wait a minute, let me see. Let's see. She said she wanted to have those individual conversations with Kelly. And Kelly chimes in and says, "Let me speak for myself." And she says she and Portia are in an uncomfortable space with each other, and they are trying to digest what is happening. Girl, what does that mean, Kelly? You trying to eat it and swallow it? Girl, move around. Anyway, K Michelle ain't even talking about Kelly and Portia's beef. That's the problem. They are thinking what they had talked about. K Michelle not even thinking about that. But remember, Before they came there, K Michelle just said in the bus, on the bus, we remember we followed along a pattern. She said that is this how y'all do it? Y'all beat each other up, then start laughing and getting along the next minute. Remember I told y'all to keep that. Don't lose that. Hold on. All of this was before dinner. Now they're at bar eating at dinner. And Kay Michelle is saying she's been trying to be holy. But it's hard because she want to say stuff, but she keeps it in. Anyway, and why does Kelly's voice sounds like somebody with nails going down a chalkboard? Anyway, just question. Just question. Portia says she wants to check herself because she was very disappointed in herself. Talking about Kelly's business closing because it sounds like she was trying to put a spell on Kelly. And she don't wish that on no woman. And I totally agree with Portia with that. Portia said she wants to take it back, every word, and she thinks that she and Kelly need to have a private conversation. Kelly says she thinks they're good where they are. Child. Kelly don't want to move on. She won't beef with Portia because she, I believe, feels like beef with Portia will get her somewhere in status on the show. I don't know. But I really don't think that Kelly really wants to move on. Please tap the like button if you don't mind. If you're in the bushes, tap the like button. I promise you I don't bite and I love everybody. I just don't play a lot with the devil. Sorry. Kelly is windmilling with herself. Creating issues with Drew and Portia is weird. It's weird. It definitely is, Susie, because I don't understand it. And I think the people don't really understand it. They don't understand why Kelly has when I read through Twitter and I read through Facebook, those groups, they're all saying the same thing. No one understands Kelly's issue, and K Michelle just been getting eat up. Twitter, baby, they turn her to pieces. There's a few people on Twitter that's like, swinging for her, but for the most part, they on Twitter tearing K Michelle to pieces. Anyway, um, Portia said that she could respect Kelly saying that she thinks that they're good where they are and they can move on from that. So they called a truce, is what I would consider that. Drew asked Kay a question and asked her what had her feeling a certain way. And Kay said she has been standoffish with Drew because Drew keeps saying that she knows black. Now we heard, I don't know, maybe some stuff that was edited out because we know this show is heavily edited. But I only heard Drew say that K Michelle knew black one time. Now, the first episode, when they go to Portia's and they have dinner, Drew's on the phone with Black and she introduces Black to K Michelle. And before she could do that, K Michelle already introduces herself to, says hi to Black. And then we hear her in the confessional talking about Black being in her DMs, la, 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 la. So if that is true, then how are you going to blame that on Drew? K Michelle, now come on now. Come on. I was rooting for you, K Michelle. You tripping. You tripping. Anyway, K Michelle says she don't know that man. I don't know that man. But K Michelle, you told us he be in your DMs. In fact, you told us on episode 1 of this season that he be in your DMs. I already talked about that. Kay said the only way she knows this man is because he be in her DMs and liking her sister's stuff. Anyway, she said she has a whole husband. And I put, K Michelle, are you okay? Because you ain't sounding quite bright right now. You sound a little like something ain't quite, registering on that Richter scale. That's what you sound. K Michelle mentioning Black being in her DMs. No respect, no disrespect. K Michelle isn't a good addition. I totally agree. I think that she has something that she might need to be working through. Now to put Marsol on the couch. Now we're gonna have to put K Michelle on the couch in a therapist's office because I don't know. I'm missing something. They edited out something that just ain't right if they edited anything out. But I don't think they edited enough out to really tell us what your problem is. And I'll tell you why I feel that way in just a moment. Anyway, K Michelle said, I don't know nothing about that man. And K Michelle said she don't know nothing about Drew. But when she was entering this friend group, the word around Atlanta was she was trying to connect Kay to her jump off. Now remember, wait a minute. And I guess she's talking about Black. All right. But remember, on the way to the thing, Okay, Michelle says, because I want to keep reiterating this, because we're gonna get down in this, we're gonna talk about it. On the way to the thing, y'all fuss, y'all fight. This how y'all we y'all all good? We done made up. All right. She said she thought it was weird, right? Okay, later on, she gonna tell us that she got a phone call saying that someone was trying to connect her to the jump off. But chat, we're gonna keep on going. Anyway, Drew said, I just wanted you to see the inconsistencies and the hypocrisy, because it's right here for everybody to see. Drew said, I don't know where that's coming from. I have said it to you only one time. And Drew said, I don't know the nature of you all's relationship. She told Kay he could be in your DMs because he's single. Cynthia tells Drew, it seems like you really like Black. Y'all really like each other a lot. And Drew said she has so much going on right now that she can't make another man happy right now. Over in the background, Shamia is telling Kay that it takes only 5 minutes to make a man happy. Then Shamia says she was on the phone with him for hours. You have to care about somebody's DMing, right? Shamia is the one who told Kay everything. I ain't telling, I don't know, allegedly. But I believe Shamia is the one, her and Kelly are the ones who told Kay all this bull swank. I believe it, I believe it, I believe it. I ain't gonna change my mind. I put Shamia is the one who told Kay everything that she is regurgitating. You can't tell me none of this. I'm sorry. I believe it. I believe it. Just by listening to them, watching Shamia's body language, and I'm gonna tell you this: Kelly can lie with a straight face. Kelly can lie with a straight face. So I believe nothing they said. Kelly is the one who said that Pinky be down there eating meat, but they blamed it on Phaedra. And Kelly said right there, didn't even try to clear it up. Yeah, Kelly can lie with a straight face, allegedly. Let's move on. K. Michelle tells Shamia, she says, stop, right? You stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm going to tell you this. I saw this and I just had to pull it up. Shamia is crass. She's crass. I'm going to tell you why I say she's crass. She lacks sensitivity, refinement, intelligence. She's surprisingly or offensively blunt or rude. And then you can go even further and say she lacks class because she is crass. She definitely is crass. We have watched Shamia this season talk about urinating inside of a cup in the middle of a gas station. We have watched Shamia this season twerking every moment of the day that she gets, humping her friends, humping the people. We watched Shamia, who walked out of breakfast with a robe on, return with a G-string. With a thong on. Child, we have watched Shamia be someone who I'm not really understanding why. Shamia has a husband at home. She has children. Shamia, what are you doing? Are you trying to find yourself? Are you lacking identity? What's wrong, Shamia? You can tell us. Come on down here to Lady Rose channel. I'll interview you. I ain't got no money to give you though, but I'll interview you. But something ain't right. Something ain't right. Where's the Shamia who was down there drinking the water out of Kenya's products? Where's that Shamia at? Where's the Shamia who was a lot of fun to laugh and talk? Where's that Shamia? Is this issue between you and Portia so deep that it has changed your identity? Anyway, he said, money can't buy you class. Shamia, child. Susie. He said, Legro, you're so sweet. Oh my God. Shamia and Kelly don't have storylines that just create chaos like Giselle and Robin. Jahale and Robin. I got you, Queen Script. I agree with that. But Kelly does have a storyline. She does. Kelly is going through a whole divorce. She got kids that her husband won't let her show on the TV. She got a store that closed and she knew that it was going to close. She owes the landlord a whole lot of money. She could have been down here telling us about bankruptcy, just like Pinky Cole been telling us every 5 minutes. She chose not to share that because she wants us to live in a facade. She wants to live in a facade, and she wants us to go along as her audience. No, ma'am. Shamia does her husband because she wants to be famous. Pray for her. You say pray for Shamia. Does her husband because she wants to be famous. Oh, I forgot. Susie, you do talk to text. That's right. Yeah, I understand what you mean, though. She does want to be famous. And I think her fame, her wanting to be famous, supersedes her wanting to be a mother or a wife. At least that's the way it comes off. I'm not saying for sure, allegedly, but that's the way it seems when she comes out here and says, hey, um, she's running for something that she's running, trying to run to something that isn't readily available to her. And I know she misses her friendship with Portia. It's evident and it shows. But you need to make that right. Whatever that is, you need to try to make it right. Unless Portia just don't want to make it right. Anyway, Drew tells the group that Shamia is whispering stuff to Kay Michelle. And Cynthia said they need to head back to the house. And Kelly takes the people's champagne flute. Baby, when I tell you what happened to the class, they used to be Real Housewives of Atlanta. What happened to it? When I first started watching this show, like I said, I came in season one. It was late in the season. My daughter had been watching it. And I remember one Sunday evening, I came in, sat on the sofa, and we watched it together. I'm like, what's the name of this? So it's pretty interesting. And so she had to, of course, catch me up on all of it. But I will say, during that time, we saw the handbags, we saw the nice cars, the homes. They showed us, them going on helicopter rides, visiting each other in a home for teas and brunches. And now we have a whole bunch of women who have sexualized everything around them, literally everything around them. And believe it or not, Nene Leakes said this. She said they would declass the show, and they are. And I hate to say that, Nene was right, but Nene was right. Anyway, K Michelle asked Shamia, to come back over to the table, and she talks to her as the other ladies walk out. K Michelle said, "What's wrong with you?" They were about to have a kumbaya, there was about to be a kumbaya moment, and you were being real shady. And I put in my notes. Now, Kay, you have a lot of audacity. You got a lot of audacity. Were you gonna be a part of that kumbaya moment? Because you got a problem with Drew too, remember? You said Drew keep trying to hook you up with Black, trying to say that you've been with Black. So perhaps you need to be a part of the kumbaya moment. Anyway, let's move along. Shamir says, with who? And Kay Michelle said, you are never going to make up with Drew if you keep being rude and shady. Baby, that's real rich. That's real rich coming from the way you fist act a little bit later. Anyway, Shamir said, no, Drew throws shade and she throws, and I just throw them right back. And I said, hold up, swole up. Drew didn't say anything to you. You interjected those smart comments when you should have been eating your food. But you was busy. Excuse me. You were busy making smart remarks towards Drew. K. Michelle tells Shamia that she is trying to create new beef tonight with Drew. And Shamia says, how? How was I trying to start with Drew tonight? And Kay said, you had your own commentary going on. And then Shamia deflects and says, thing one, Drew, and thing two, Angela, keeps bringing up the Portia thing. I said, girl, stop lying. We see you, Shamia. We see you. Drew clocks Shamia and K. Michelle behind clock talking. She tells Angela, oh, I saw, K. Michelle pull Shamia to the side and they're over there talking. And K. Michelle told Shamia that she needs to be dropped off in the hood. First she said, were you raised in the hood? She said, no. She said, well, you need to be dropped off in the hood so you can learn some other stuff. And I said, it's ironic how Kay can see the petty in Shamia, but not in her own behavior. It's just way, way too petty. Anyway, we wake up, we go on the next day, we see this is Dallas trip day 3. It's the next morning of the day of Cynthia's event. The ladies are all up for breakfast. We see Drew talking to Nana. I'm sorry, not Drew. We see Kelly talking to Nana on the phone, which is her grandmother, and she's telling her the village is strong. We see Phaedra and Portia. They're talking about antihistamines, not to take the pink one because you'll be drowsy. Take the white one, child. Then we see Pinky. She was on the phone, of course, checking on her businesses or whatever. And then she comes down and she thanks Cynthia for checking on her. She says she feels way better than she did the day before, and it's a new day. The house mother, which is what I'm going to call Cynthia from here on out, the house mother asks, where's Kay? Because they've started eating breakfast by now. Has anybody spoken to her? And Angela says she knocked on the door and she didn't answer. So Phaedra said, well, I'll go check on her. So Phaedra runs up the stairs to check on Kay while the other ladies continue to eat breakfast. Shamia asked Cynthia, was she ready for her event? And Cynthia said she woke up with a sore throat and she used the honey trick. And they was like, huh? And she said, you take a spoonful of honey and you let it slide down your throat. She told them exactly how you do it. And really, singers do that a lot. But of course, these women, these ladies, go straight to the gutter instead of really thinking about what she was saying. Anywho, Phaedra said that since Cynthia got that young boy, she's hotter than a kettle smoking on a stove. Anyway, Cynthia said she had some people coming with gowns and a jeweler coming to drape them with diamonds. Next, we see K. Michelle coming down the stairs. She comes to the table without a drop of makeup. Now, mind you, we couldn't come to dinner on the day one of the trip because Glam was not there. But you swindle on down these stairs without a drop of makeup. Phaedra had her hair wrapped up in a turban, no makeup on. Portia didn't have on, and these women have beautiful skin. I'm not picking at that. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy that is K. Michelle. Let's not put it that way. Anyway, Kelly asked Kay, how was she feeling? And she said, I'm feeling fine. Angela then says, Kay, at dinner yesterday, you said you didn't feel safe. Was that true? And Kay Michelle just busted out crying. Anybody think that was kind of strange? To me, that it was strange for Kay Michelle to just bust out crying because someone asked her a question. But child, I don't know what she was dealing with. Maybe her husband just cussed out. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, she starts crying like something was seriously wrong. And most of the women at the table, except Drew and Angela, got up and went to Kay Michelle's side and tried to comfort her. Then Kay went into a speech and she said, y'all can sit there and say y'all care about people when you can sit there and plot. You're plotting and trying to do stuff to people. If I know a motherfucker's plotting my hurt, I'm not going to smile in your face. I know exactly the whole plot. And Angela asked Kay, what's the plot? Kay Michelle then said, nobody that has been plotting against me gonna be smiling in my face. And Portia said, is there anything we can do? Who is it? And Angela said, who's plotting? There ain't nobody plotting on this alpha. Ain't a soul plotting on K. Michelle. Baby, this is what I would have been doing for K. This is me. This is what I would have been doing, y'all. I'm sorry. The way I would have been laughing at her ass. I'm sorry. This is all I would have had for K. This right here. All of this. That's all I would have had for. Because who's plotting on you? Who is plotting on you? You said they were plotting. Tell us what the plot is. What is the plot? Who is plotting on you? She can't even tell us the plot. You already done said on the way there that you was trying, on the way to the restaurant the day before, that you was trying to keep it holy, right? You was trying to keep it holy because there's some things you want to say. Then you told Drew that you wanted her to stop saying that she was with Black. What is the plot? Because baby, you're not making no sense right now. You got with a plot, you gotta tell us what the plot is. That's not making no sense. Okay, moving right along. K. Michelle said, you know who you are. And Angela in her confessional said, what in the world is happening that you have to come to breakfast crying? Girl, eat your breakfast. K. Michelle said, everybody may not know. Most of the ladies say, I don't know. Most of the ladies said, I don't know. Portia tells K. Michelle that she feels responsible because she brought her to this friend group. And Portia says she don't feel good about this at all. And she wants Kay to tell her because if she has to deal with it for her, she will just deal with it. And Portia says she don't understand why Kay's crying. Girl, use your words. Tell us what's going on is what Portia said. Portia said, even if it's me, tell me. And Kay says, I just don't know what right now, and proceeds to deal with it. So let's talk about this plot, Joe. Joe, you said it's a plot. Now you said it's a plot. Now I'm gonna go back a little bit. K. Michelle says, as Portia's telling her, I just can't deal with it right now. And then she proceeds to deal with it. All right, now let's talk about the dealing with it. Kay said, I know the little jokes, and I want you as a person to know that you are a low down motherfucker. And that's why you ain't got shit. I see every goddamn thing. But remember, I can't deal with this right now. K. Michelle said last night after they left dinner, she got a call saying that there was a plot against her this whole time from some of these ladies. Now tell me what the plot is, because your plot it done fell apart. Remember, because you already told us on the bus that you're trying to stay holy. You didn't understand why the ladies fuss and their makeup. You didn't understand all that. You was trying to figure it out. Then at the table, you asked about black. Then when Portia was checking the oysters, you looking at her cross-eyed. So tell us the plot. Because you say you don't want to deal with it, then you begin to deal with it. So tell us what the girl, go ahead and bust it out. Bust it out. I think producers told the girls to reference her with the oyster to bring up black. Child, she brought up black. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Now, let's use a little bit of reasonable deduction skills, right? She brought up black. The first episode, the second episode, at the table with Kelly and was Pinky. She brought up black. Drew, we heard say when someone asked her about black on the bus. She goes, well, he's a friend of yours. And Kay, I don't know that man. That was the first time we heard her say, I don't know that man. But K. Michelle has been bringing up black. Baby, that's a mental issue. I don't care what. Let me tell you something. I know people that be talking one way and you could be doing the exact same thing, but today it bothers them. But they don't have nothing to do with that person. Got everything to do with the one who is bothering. That's it. Don't have nothing to do with the person saying it. You got to do everything with the person that it has seemed to bother. K. Michelle got something deep down inside. Something deep, because your story don't make sense. Unless editing has moved everything out the way, your story ain't making no sense, baby. The plot is in her head. K. Michelle is holding the peach, but still fanning out. Exactly. But she used to fan out on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Do y'all remember that? She used to fan out over there. She definitely did. This is right in character for K. Michelle, allegedly. Allegedly. Anyway, K. Michelle said last night after they left dinner, she got a phone call saying that there was a plot against her this whole time for some of the ladies. One was to imply that she was with your, this is how she said, one was to imply I was with your boyfriend, not boyfriend. The second one was to talk about what a disgruntled ex-boyfriend said about me 8 years ago. Come again? Kay, come on back over here, baby. Explain, because you're not making sense. Now, you say one was to imply that you was with your boyfriend, not boyfriend. Drew just told you that he's not her man and that you can have him. He could call you. He could be in your DMs. K. Michelle. And two was to talk about a disgruntled ex-boyfriend. What he said. Not what he did, but what he said 8 years ago. It ain't working with me. It ain't working with me. She said Joe said she needs to use her words. We all still guessing what is the plot is too much. I'm not guessing about no plot. You ain't making no sense. Let me tell you, my guessing stopped when I listened to this thing completely, realized that she was setting this up from the time they got in that bus until the time of the next morning. All this was a setup by K. Michelle. All of this was a setup by K. Michelle. And she drug Shamia and Kelly into it. I don't care what you say. I believe that Shamia and Kelly may gave her a little bit of words, but I believe more than anything, this was something in Kay's head. She shared it with Kelly and Shamia, so she have a scapegoat. You ain't gonna tell me nothing different. It seems like there's a major insecurities there. You would think with her accomplishments, she would be more comfortable in her skin. You would think so. But Kay's done a lot of alterations to that same skin that we're talking about. So that's neither here nor there. So I understand what you're saying, Susie, but I think sometimes we have to agree that some people just they're just not comfortable with who they are. Let's take Michael Jackson, for instance. I watched the Michael Jackson movie last week, and the one thing I saw, his siblings, because this movie was produced by some of his siblings, they pretty much believe that the reason why Michael kept changing his nose was because his dad said he had a big nose, right? And I think one thing could set you off and you believe that you're just not right. So you fix that. And if you look at the evolution of K Michelle, we all have evolved from when we were teenagers. But if you look at the evolution of K Michelle, she's changed over the years. K Michelle's a beautiful woman. There was no reason to do any of the things that she's done to her body. She's worked very hard to be who she is. And she's also beaten herself up for what she has done to her body. She talked about the botched BBL and how she still will always have silicone in her system because she used silicone. So I believe there's a lot involved with K Michelle, but I also believe that K Michelle may have something else going on, allegedly. That's just how I feel. Kay said she knows who they have contacted and she know what blogs they have called to go spread that rumor. Baby, I said the phone call is sitting right next to you right now. You ain't fooling nobody. You ain't fooling me for sure at all. Portia said, you can't tell us who was saying something about you. And Kay Michelle says, no. Remember, I don't want to talk about it right now. And then I can't deal with it right now, but then we proceed to deal with it. That something ain't right there. That don't make sense. I'm sorry, it just don't make sense. Angela tells Shamia that she's always looking away. And Shamia makes it known that she knows what's going on, but she will not tell what K Michelle said because K Michelle confided in her. And that's what friends, real friends, do, is what Shamia said. That was a poke at Portia, baby. Poke at Portia and a little slap over to Angela because she told Angela, she was talking to Angela about Portia, and Angela went back and told Portia and Chad. Let me tell you something. There is no reason for Shamia to believe that when she was talking about her best friend with a lady who had just joined the show, just joined the cast, that Angela owed her some type of loyalty to keep her secrets. I don't believe that at all. In fact, Angela went right over there and told Portia because you know why? She want to hold that peach. Angela's trying to hold a peach. She's doing her job. Y'all get paid to get out of here and provide entertainment. And you cannot provide entertainment if you sitting over here not saying nothing, not earning your money, pretending, faking, whatever you're doing. That's not earning you no money. Kay, I'm not sure if this is a good fit for you right now because this is not showing you in a good light at all. Maybe editing took out what we needed to see, but it's not showing you. It's not showing us what happened. Kay says that after dinner, she decided to go to Shamia and Kelly and talk to them about it, what was being prepared to take her down. Girl, ain't about nothing's being prepared to take you down. I don't believe black can take you down, and I don't believe talking about you smelling like salmon. What you say, sardines? I don't believe none of that's gonna take you down either. People talk about stuff all the time. Rumors are rumors. Let them die. That's what you do with rumors. You let them fade away. Production asked Kelly in the confessional about the plot, and Kelly said she don't remember nothing about it. So did you talk to Kelly, or is Kelly a little liar? Like I said, Kelly can lie with a straight face. I already said that. Kelly can lie with a straight face. On the other hand, Shamia says, and she was very vocal about it, said that Kay asked them not to speak on it, and she respects that. Angela says she feels like they're trying to create a narrative, and I totally agree. Kay said she was telling Shamia to let it go when she pulled her to the side because they do mention the fact that when they were leaving the restaurant, that Kay and Shamia stayed off to the side. I was telling her to let it go, the issue that she has between her and Drew, which we saw, but apparently there was more to it because Portia said she heard things as they were talking about it. Drew asked, "Why was my name mentioned? Why am I in it?" And Drew asked Shamia, "Why are you making this about you?" Drew said, "Looks like you are feeding bullshit." And I will add the rest to K Michelle, is what I put. Whatever Shamia is feeding Drew, K Michelle doing the rest. I'm sorry. Drew said that Shamia has been the bullshit of this entire trip. And I agree with that. Shamia has started a lot of SHIT. First, it started with Pool House, and then it's kept on into the van the next day. It just been on and on and on, like Energizer Bunny. Portia said, "Let's just let Kay sit in this for a moment and the groups, they divide into, they go two different directions. So inside, let's say the ladies split. Outside we see Kelly, K Michelle, Shamia, and Pinky. Inside we have Phaedra, Portia, Cynthia, Angela, and Drew. The ladies inside say that something has transpired overnight, right? And the ladies that are outside, K Michelle says, um, that the ladies thought they were going to address her at dinner with the allegations. She said specifically it was Drew, Portia, and Phaedra. So how were they going to address her at dinner, but didn't address her at dinner? Because we saw the oyster address, talking about the oysters. So, was there something else that was supposed to happen? Because the black situation was shut down at dinner. The oyster situation happened. So when were they going to address you? This is why I said it was something that was all made up in her head. K Michelle gonna take her own self. That baby, she don't need a lick of help. She's doing a good job all by herself of ruining her own chances over here on Real Housewives of Atlanta. K Michelle, chill out. You're doing too much. Just chill out, relax, and let's go with the flow. Anyway, Pinky and her thick tongue says, not Portia rubbing on your knee and being part of the problem. And Phaedra trying to fan you with her church fan. And then Kate chimes in and says, I know people are trying to play me. Then when I get to cursing, they're going to say, Kate, all crazy. Well, girl, you looking crazy. You made the statement. I'm just here to reiterate it. Girl, you looking mighty crazy right now, and none of that has happened. Not a single bit of it. Anyway, Kate says she's heartbroken. And she says she has watched these ladies try and judge her. They've been judging her, y'all. What was they judging her on? Everybody I see has been very open to Kate. But child, again, maybe they edited it out. You never know about production, but child's even here nor there. They show a clip of the ladies from the night before laughing when Portia checked the oysters. And I put the call is coming from outside of the pool house. That's where the call is coming from. Check the pool house and see if you can find the answer of who was going to do what to you. Kate says the trauma that was caused by the rumor really hasn't gotten any better. She said she hasn't healed from it. Kate says she's not going to let them keep playing in her face. You're not going to play in my face, doggone it. Granted, about playing in your face. You playing in your face. You really are playing in your face, K Michelle. And the people see it. We the people. We see it. I see it. I definitely see it. Anyway, back in the house, the ladies are all laying on the bed, honey. They laying every which way, trying to be Detective Gadget, baby. And Phaedra says, let's check and see these Twitter accounts because the ladies love to have Twitter fingers, honey. Drew says, K Michelle has tweeted 3 hours ago, and they read the tweet. She said, all this was before breakfast. Portia said that Kay has never said this before, and she feels kind of offended. Kay says she doesn't have patience for people with no talent or no real business promoting synthetic hair over there on Buford Highway that never sold. I said, girl, gonna put a name on it. If you're gonna stay out there, go ahead and put a name on it. And you over there is fighting for a whole home with a man in the basement. I don't know. You want to worry about what a man has to say about me and my hot pocket smelling like a sardine or a Glade candle. An 8-year rumor. Kay said, do you know how many hot pockets I've had in 8 years? I've gotten it tightened. I've gotten it snipped. I've gotten it clipped. I've gotten it tucked. And this is a married hot pocket. Girl. She said, you don't even know this new hot pocket. Here comes Shamia. She says they blaming her. And I said, yeah, girl, we are. We blaming you, boo. We are blaming you. Joe says maybe Kay is a spiritual intuitive and senses when people are plotting. Child. Maybe so. Maybe she is spiritual. Maybe she is, child. I don't see it for it. I don't see it being her, but I like K Michelle. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was rooting for K Michelle. I love her as a singer. Her voice is amazing, but she got to chill out. She got to chill out on this little show because she's not looking, it's not showing her in a good light, and it may affect her music career. And we don't want none of that. Girl, you have to go back to singing and leave this show. Stick with your singing where you can get some awards. But this ain't it. Excuse me. Back in the room, Angela says Shamia wears whatever she's feeling on her face. Angela says that Shamia has unresolved issues with Portia and is blaming all of them for the demise of their friendship. Angela says clearly Kay is confiding in Shamia and she has an issue with everyone that Shamia has an issue with. Is Shamia putting the battery in Kay's back, is what Angela asked? Drew said, who said that Phaedra eats dead people? Cynthia said that she thought it was strange when Pinky mentioned it. Phaedra said, if we're going to be a group, we have to bring it to the group. And we have to lay it on the table and we're going to have to talk about it. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people don't like Phaedra. A lot of people don't like Portia. But I'm going to tell you, just to be very honest, the maturity I see from Phaedra in this episode, the maturity I saw from Cynthia in this episode, the maturity I saw from Portia. Portia got on her knees and tried to plead with K. Michelle, as though K. Michelle, while K. Michelle constantly said that somebody was plotting against her and that she didn't want to deal with it while she was dealing with it. Right? Drew could be a little childish, but to be honest with you, these women have been very, I would say, respectful. And I believe, this is my personal opinion, nobody has to agree with me, I believe that none of this is true. I believe a lot of this is just doing too much. Just doing too much. Anyway, the ladies go and they start getting ready for the gala. And as they're walking out of the room, Portia says, hey, they're here with the gowns. And so they show the ladies looking through the gowns so they can get ready for the gala that night. Shamia calls all the ladies outside again because she over there, she in her feelings. Phaedra's trying to get Glam together because the ladies keep starting drama. And she says, we need to get ready. It takes us a while. And if we don't get started now, we're going to be late. Cynthia says she isn't sure if they're even going to make it at this point. She said the way things keep happening, she's not sure if they're going to make it to the gala. Now, Shamia went to her room with a robe on, but she returned without a robe on to show her body off on the camera. And the ladies all picked up on it. Shamia's giving really weird vibes this season. And I don't know what that's about. Shamia, I don't know what's going on with you. But girl, you go ahead. Shamia said she brought everyone together to get some things off her chest. Mm-hmm. She left her robe at home so they can make sure they can see her chest. She isn't going to sit around and let people manipulate, plot, or plan on her. Shamia said that everyone was making her the fall guy to this situation. She said she learned about the situation at the same time Kelly did. The Kelly who said she don't remember nothing. She don't remember the conversation. That same, okay, all right, girl. That's the hill you plan to put your cross on. All right. She said she learned the same time Kelly did when K. Michelle came up there and told him. Shamia tells K. Michelle that she's going to have to clear her name. And Kay says, no, you didn't say anything about anybody. And Shamia says, right, you came to me. And Shamia said, when she asked her who said it, Kay said she can't tell her. She couldn't tell her at that moment. Drew had her lips all twisted like she didn't believe none of it. And I'm sorry, I'm with Drew at this moment. Kay starts talking again, and she says she hasn't gone into details because she isn't ready. Remember, a few minutes ago, she didn't want to deal with it, but she dealt with it. Now she isn't ready. That's why she hasn't gone into details. Kay says, just know that she knows. And when she starts talking about black, and Drew makes it clear one more time, I didn't say that you had been with black. Cynthia says black keeps coming up. That's what Cynthia says in the confessional. And she said, but Kay's the one who's bringing him up. And I don't know where this is going, and I don't know why, is what Cynthia said. Drew says, so what are you bothered by, Kay? Kay gets loud and says, I don't need you going around telling folks that I'm around no man. And Drew scoots on to the edge of that Chicago starts scooting to the edge of the seat. And she says, first of all, I never told anybody that. And Kay says, she has enough men running around here talking about her. And Drew stood up. And she said, they told Kay to sit down. Then Kay starts trying to stand up. Girl, you're doing too much over so little. This is not enough to stand up and try to get with nobody about. What are you doing? You could check everybody from your seat. Your reads are hidden, K. Michelle. Just keep reading. You pull that Memphis out real good. Stay in that flow. But instead, you want to give you standing up because you're ready. Now, I don't know why Drew stood up, but you stood up. My mama told me that too. Somebody stand up on you, you stand up. Don't sit down. Don't ever give them an upper edge. If they stand up, you stand up. So I kind of agree with that. I agree with that. Drew told Kay, don't you ever come at me like that. I don't even know this girl. Kay said something about I don't sound like TLC. I don't know what that was about. Then Kay says in the confessional, Drew don't scare me. And she sounds more like, and I sound more like Tupac and Young Gotti. So I guess she's saying that Drew's music sounds like TLC, but she sounds like Tupac. Oh, child. I don't know. Anyway, Drew said, I will focus on my movie roles and you focus on your country music. Cynthia said her theme for the event that night is Dynasty meets Dallas. She only wanted them to look like the characters on the show, not act like them. Drew said, you want a moment, and I'm not going to give it to you. Kay is yelling, nobody wants to hear about that basement no more. Drew said, that is my real life. That is what I'm dealing with. And then we see Drew picks up her phone. She calls Black. She goes in the house. While Kelly says that Drew is sneaky. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Kelly got a lot of mouth on her. Kelly's also the one that said the picky eat beat. Kelly been starting a lot of SHIN the T with this whole friend group. I'm going to tell you who really ain't going to make it. That's that darn Kelly. I believe that her contract won't be renewed. Kelly is not doing none of the work for this show. She just ain't. She just started miss. She said that Kelly said Drew is sneaky, always throwing rocks and hiding her hand, and she's glad that someone is calling her out on her bullshit. That's what she said. Anyway, you said, do you think K. Michelle is declassing the show? No, not by herself. I think that these group of women, I believe this last class that they brought in, let me get a sip of water. I believe this last class of women that they brought to the show has declassed the show. I think bringing Shamia from a friend of to a peach holder did not help. I think that Kelly really does. She's not that girl. She's not bringing anything to the show. Because I want to see glam. I want to see glitz. I want to see glamour. But with seeing glitz, glam and glamour, you have to see women of a certain means, right? And I don't think Kelly fits that role. I think K. Michelle does, but K. Michelle is going to have to get off of that team that she's aligned herself with. Shamia is going to have to align herself with life and get back to being Shamia and not Humpty Dump, whatever she called herself doing, twerk lady. I don't know. Shamia really is something that's not quite right with Shamia that we've absolutely at one point grew to love. And Shamia is not being that girl. Maybe something's going on at home. I don't know. But I don't think K. Michelle alone is declassing the show. No. Luckily, Cynthia's bringing class to balance it out. Definitely. Cynthia, and I'm going to tell you this. People may not like it, but we've watched Portia evolve over the years, right? The issue between Portia and Candy Burris, I have never absorbed it because the person who the rumor was supposed to happen to knew that it didn't happen. The person who was supposed to do the rumor knew that it never happened. So it was that of it. It was a rumor. If you remember back when they were sitting at the table, she says, I heard when you use the word or the term I heard, that means it is a rumor. You don't know for it to be a fact. But for people in the audience to take it and make it a fact, and oh, she could have killed her brand. It was a rumor that never had any light of day other than this show. It went from whatever Phaedra said to Portia, and Portia took that rumor straight to the horse's mouth, is what we call it. If I hear a rumor about you and I want to know the facts, I'm going to come to you, Joe, and I'm going to ask you, is this true about you? And if you say, hey, yeah, that's true. No, it's not true. Mind your business. Whatever you say, guess what I have to do? I have to respect that, right? So I really believe that incident between Portia and Candy was really blown way out of proportion by the fans. Now, I will say this. We saw Portia married to Cordell come to this show really naive. We've heard Portia say that there's 265 days in a year, or I don't know what the number, two something. We heard Portia say that the Underground Railroad was a real railroad. Um, but we've also seen Portia evolve. We've seen her evolve from the wife who was married to Cordell. He put her out. Um, sent her dress in a box, all those things. We saw that. We saw the evolution of Portia, where she got out here and she started dating and she decided that she wanted to have a baby. We saw her buy a house. We saw Portia meet different men. We saw her try to get this guy to sign a contract to have a baby. And then she met Dennis. And then she had a baby by Dennis, and she was able to have a baby special, one of the few, maybe the only one we've had on Real Housewives of Atlanta. We've also seen Portia, not be in a relationship with Dennis. We saw Portia try to fight Dennis' mama on her little special that she had. We saw Portia, we didn't really see her marry Simon, but we heard and we saw it all in the papers, right? And we saw Portia move when she came on the show, move into the house, and then last season be unable to film in the house because she was no longer Miss Gubadia and was tied up in lawsuits. This year, able to film. So I think we've seen the evolution of who Portia is. So we can't say that Portia has not evolved. Now, we start talking about the women's HOE card, then we're going to have to pull out everybody's card, right? And we might have to start putting some notches in it and see who has the heaviest card. But I believe that you can't call out one without calling out them all. Now, Kelly is so enamored, I will use that word, with Portia and her being with a married man who is Simon, who Portia literally married, right? Whatever the optics look like, Simon married Portia and intended to have a life with Portia. Now, I didn't like the optics of it. I didn't really like the way it panned it out. I didn't like any of the things when it came down to Portia and Simon. And I'm being very honest. I didn't like none of it. And at one point, I was like, I don't really care for Portia. But one thing I did do, when Portia put out her book, The Pursuit of Portia, I bought that bad boy. And you know what? Just like Portia said that that Kelly had read chapter number 4. In fact, I got the book right here in After Dark with Lady RHOA. I think we're gonna read chapter 4, and we're gonna talk about what this book says about Portia being with R. Kelly, because it's some things in here that Portia says about R. Kelly that I think we should address. So I'm put this book back over here. We're gonna talk about that later. But I really believe we've seen the evolution of Portia. And to be honest with you, this season, if you remove the fact that y'all don't like Portia, that Portia, y'all, as y'all say, lied on Candy, which she never lied on Candy. She took a rumor to Candy for Candy to address it. The lie came from somebody else, but she took the brunt of the force with the lie. Whoever made it up, right? And nothing ever happened from it. Candy didn't lose no money, nothing. In fact, she said she took lemons and made lemonade out of it. We've seen Portia evolve into who she was. Portia has been very, very adult-like on this episode, on this season. She's been very responsible, other than, whatever she's doing with her ladies and her men. Portia has come out here and been a voice of reason, even with K. Michelle. She got on her knees to ask Kay what was wrong. Even if it's me, let me know what I've done. Child, no, I ain't saying it for none of these women that are out here tripping, because I don't. I think that this new group they brought in was not ready for Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they are declassing the show. And I think it is happening as a whole. And I really believe that the division that you saw with the women outside and the women inside, I really believe that's where they need to divide them up again. Maybe send the women outside on about their way, and maybe build from the women inside. Maybe bring a friend of a couple of those women and fill that group. We don't need those other women anyway, but build from that group. I really believe that they're doing too much. Symmetry said the optics were bad. Yes, the optics were bad with the Simon situation, and that's kind of how I felt about it. I didn't really like it. I didn't approve of it. I'm a married woman, and I really felt like she did a little too much, and I wouldn't have done that. And I wouldn't have approved of any of my friends doing it. Would I fall out with my friends because of it? Probably not. But I definitely would have some words with them. Um, yeah. You said every newbie comes after Drew is ridiculous. Every newbie, every single one of them. Remember last season, Portia and Drew got into it, but they were able to make up and get past it. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what this is about Drew, and I don't believe Drew's doing all that much for them to be. She's harmless. Um, Black says we see Drew call him Black. And then of course Kelly says that Drew's always throwing rocks out in her hand. And Black says, why would you want to attach me to K Michelle when you barely want to attach yourself to me? That didn't make any sense. Anywho, enough of Black. His 5 minutes of fame up yet? Because child, I'm tired of hearing the word Black. Portia asked a question about the plot. Shabia said they all had a team meeting, and that this is what she says in her confessional. She didn't say it in front of them. They all had a team meeting to put this all on me, and now everybody is a go naked model now. Talking about the ladies who were inside: Cynthia, Phaedra, Portia, Angela, and Drew. I'm telling you, something about Shamia just ain't clicking this season. It just ain't clicking. Anyway, Angela said she thought it was Shamia. She said it was me. I thought it was Shamia. Shamia says Black women's faces say it all. And I put in my comments, this is why they're talking about your face, Shamia. Because when Kay was talking, Shamia looked on the ground. She looked everywhere but made eye contact. You cannot tell me that Shamia did not start this mess. Shamia started this. Shamia told Angela that she thinks she is just messy. Angela said, I can tell you what I think about you. And Shamia said, you already told everybody. And I said, they all messy, believe it or not. They are all messy. Cynthia said, this is all too much. Cynthia said they are just talking in circles. Once again, the house mother has to control the mess, riddle in the children, get them together, and tell them we need to get ready to go to this event tonight. Go get your makeup done, go get your hair done, get your gowns on, because the jeweler is coming to dress you all in diamonds. So get ready. So we see that Cynthia's gone and got her makeup done, and the doorbell's ringing. She goes to the door, and it's JC. He's a Black young man who's one of the partners of the tequila company, and JC's job is to make sure everything goes smoothly. JC, I believe, is, like I said, he's a partner of the company. Love to see it. Joe is the jeweler. Baby Joe came in with a big old Birkin and rocks on every hand, diamonds on the arms. Baby Joe is a mess. Cynthia and her team has pulled out all the perks of modeling. Let me tell you something. Having Cynthia a part of this friend group is spectacular for the friends, because she has pulled out some stops that they probably would not have gotten if they did not have Cynthia a part of the friend group. Cynthia has brought in jewels, not just costume jewelry. She's brought in real jewels. Cynthia has on a necklace that cost $100,000. Pinky had on one that cost $400,000. Shamia had on with that wild bouffant hair she had on. Her jewels cost $98,000. K Michelle had on a pair of ruby earrings that were $275,000. Kelly had on a necklace that was $198,000, and Phaedra had on $100,000 necklace as she flirted with the jeweler. She told the jeweler if he was single. He said, "Oh, nobody wants me." Anyway, Shamia's hair was hideous. It was hideous. And Portia wore a dress from a past reunion. She said it was the dress that she wore the year that she was pregnant with PJ. Beautiful dress. It looked really good on Portia. Drew was in glam when Cynthia went in, and she said that she would have to catch an Uber and she would see them at the event because she has a headache. Y'all, I have eliminated a lot of this stuff because it was a lot. When I say they did a lot of stuff, they did a lot of stuff. We see the ladies head out and load up in the bus. It's raining. We see the police / security escort there, and we see Angela being the last one to come on the bus, and the escorts take off. And they have escorts because of the jewelry and the amount of jewels that they have on. You have to have an escort with them everywhere they go. I'm sure there were escorts outside the house, inside the house. monitoring those jewels to make sure that Mr. Joe got his stuff back. Hey, Pretty Riri Speaks. Thanks for joining. The ladies apologize to Cynthia inside the bus, and they tell her how great of a host she has been. And Pinky says the next trip, whoever hosted, they're gonna have to really, really bring it. And Cynthia said, "I know it won't be me hosting it. Maybe if I was Cynthia, the house mother, I would never host another trip with these juvenile delinquents again, because she has really had to rile these women back in. She has really had to, like, y'all, come on, we got to do this. Oh, stop it. Oh, no. That's like chaperoning up a bunch of horny teenagers. It's too much. Anyway, K. Michelle says she knows exactly what is going on, and it's Cynthia's time, so she'll respect that and she'll turn the other cheek now. So Anita calls Cynthia as they're in the bus on their way, and we can hear JC in the background. He's boo-hooing, and Anita tells them that it's storming, and Cynthia says that they're just gonna roll with it. At this point, they just gonna roll with it. And Cynthia says she'd be damned if she don't survive this hurricane. Because of all the other stuff they've been dealing with, child. She's like, I'd be damned if I don't survive this hurricane, baby. No, 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 no. It stopped raining after about an hour. They're driving to Dallas, and they arrive at the event. We see the husbands coming in. I think it was Pinky's husband. We saw K. Michelle's husband, and she starts whispering to him about, whatever had gone on. And they brought the party inside. It was the house was beautiful. It was laid beautifully, really, really nice. Mike brought Portia a real rose. He said it was dipped in gold. Kay Michelle took her husband to the side to have a chat with him. Kay says when they get to Atlanta, they're going to have a talk. And they talk about the tequila being number one tequila in the Dallas market. And Cynthia introduces all of the ladies one by one because she wanted to crown one of the ladies Miss Tequila. And they crown all of the ladies Miss Tequila and tells them they have to share a crown. The women start fighting over the crown. They broke the crown because they don't know how to act. A bunch of, like I said, juvenile delinquents. And the house mother has, she took the mic and started talking to somebody else. She wasn't paying them attention. It's like children do. They broke it. We see Drew back at the house singing happy birthday to her mama, baby. She getting ready. Baby, when I say Drew was doing all the things in slow motion, she just was. She was not in anybody's hurry. Drew literally arrives at the event as it is over, and the girls are getting ready to walk out the door. Cynthia said she hosted her fair share of trips, but this one was a roller coaster. And production does a montage of the trip that Cynthia has hosted to Dallas. And Cynthia says some have squashed their beef, some have called a truce and decided to move on. One gathered enemies like Pokemon cards, and she's still waiting on her to spill the tea. Cynthia is just hoping whatever happens in Dallas stays in Dallas. We do know that when she was talking about the one gathering enemies like Pokemon cards, they panned it over to K. Michelle. And Cynthia said she's still waiting on Kay to spill the tea. Let's go back up. So we started with K. Michelle on the bus saying that she felt like the girls are fake because they get into it and then they squash it, they move on. Then she checks Drew at the table about black. Then the next morning she wakes up, starts crying about, girl, when I tell you this was too much. This whole episode was just, it was too much. It was just the episode before it I thought was too much, but this one was just way too much. It was too much. It was too much. It was too much. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this episode. So y'all, I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. And let's get down in the comment section. Let's talk about it more. If no one told you today that they love you, I love you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.